Tēnā tātou, if you're just jumped on, if you can please name your, if you haven't already, add your name, your organisation if it fits, so that we're able to address you correctly. Tēnā koutou, nau mai haere mai. Also, whilst we wait, I've just added something different today. Because we're talking about Mauri, if you can please add in the chat forum your Mauri meter. So from 1 to 5, what is your Mauri? How are you feeling? What's your Mauri energies? Add it in 1 to 5, 5 being the highest, and why you're that number. So good, so good. I hope the weather's just as good where everyone else is. Here in Tokelau, she's pumping. The Manutera's pumping. Solid 4. Tēnā koe, Sophia. Matua Jade, pehana. Tēnā koe, tungane. Oh, Papa Aiden! Pagano yatra tēnā koe paras. Mehi ana kia koe tungane.
A koe hoki, sis.
Pehana koutou. Roto o whanganu yatara.
Nā e ora pai ana ai, mata I konei. Kare marangai atu I waho nei, so it's all good.
Choice. E waimari no mātou I haretahi mai te ngira ki roto I mātou te taitokerau nā nahira. Konei rātou mo te rongo o te wiki, pika atu ki hokianga I tēnei ata.
Oh, meke.
Yeah, so ko te hono atu ki a whitu. Te rā hautatu.
Speaking of hautatu rere ahu, kia ora wala.
Morena koutou I taku pi.
Morena. Pehana koe roto o tāmaki.
Ora pai ana mātou konei, kai tonga o tāmaki.
Tēnā koe.
Ka wauaro maunga, he huanga kāpika.
Kia ora, kia ora.
Pai te tiki a koutou I oku hoa.
A koe noki.
Ke te maupini tomi koutou I te ki pangani atara.
Kare mata I Hawaii, bro. Kare mata I Hawaii.
Ko peke sona. So if you haven't already, what's your Mauri? 1 to 5. And why you're that number. 5 being the highest, 1 being your lowest. Let us know how you're feeling. Ooh, spent some Mauri on the gym, eh, Baras? Spending those Mauri dollars. Boy. Hariana te kite ia koutou katoa, geez, pātekau koutou. Te hono mai, tēnā koe whakala matua. Kei te ngenge koe. Hei roto koe i mai, kei mangere koe. Te hau ngenge. Good to see you, Carla, on here. Well, ka tīmata pei tātou I te ata nei. Ka pai, well, kia hihiria ke tātou e te kana kia tīmata I te tātou I te Karakia. Mana wa mai e te rangi e tūnei, mana wa mai e te papairaro nei, mana wa mai e ngā mākuru o te rangi o te whenua, ko tō manawa, ko tōku manawa, ko tō Mauri, ko tōku Mauri, ka whakairia ki ki runga kia tēnā, haumi e, hui e, tāi ki e. Nau mai whakatata mai, kare ngāre mai rā, I tēnei ata ki taku e pāro nei, I te ata nei, ko mati te kirunga, ko mati te kiraro, anei ngā hua o te rā, he whakakau I a tātou I te rangi nei. Nau mai hono mai e taima, hara mai te tahi āhua, nā runga anō I tā tātou rarao, I tēnei kaupapa o tātou Practice Foundation, tēnei au e mihi nei. Tēnei ko te mihi, ki o tātou manuhiri, no tāmaki herenga waka, tāmaki herenga tangata, Ngāti Whātua heru hāpai, nau mai piki mai, wakurahi, Eruini, kaurua ko Marisa, tēnā kaurua. Tēnei a lab e here nei a tātou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. We're humbled to see you all here on our last session of the year. Welcome once, welcome twice, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's awesome to see all old faces and some faces that I work with in healthy families. So mihi ana ki aku rahi, tēnā koutou katoa. My name is Riri, ko Riri toku ingoa. I'll be your host for today. We're also got our hāpai o from Practice Foundation, which is Kelly, Pene and Lee. If you can please show some hands, some pōhiri te ngā ringa, just so that everyone knows. We've got them in the background that'll be there. If anyone has any issues or concerns, please contact them in the background. So e mihi ana ki toku tīma, tēnā koutou. What is our purpose for today? The purpose of Practice Foundation is to provide a space for those working in the public sector who are working in complex environments to come together with like-minded people. We would like to acknowledge those that are the difficult time that are for many people, and would like to encourage and support everyone to take good care of themselves and each other as much as they can. We hope to find coming together for today's session is restorative. So yeah, koia tā mātou e manako ai te rangi nei. Our rhythm today, just so you know, today's session will build on the May 2022 session, if you did come along to that one. But it talks about what the mode of the system is, led by Tiki Humphreys. A recording of those sessions can be found also on the lab website if you need to find it. We have found that deepening our understanding of Māori supports us to work in complex systems like the public sector. So Māori also helps demonstrate the power and importance of how we as individual kaimahi show up within the system change our work. And no doubt most of us work in that system. So e mihi ana kia koutou. This will be an experimental session led by Marisa, Pene and Eruini. So e mihi ana kia koutou tahi ngā mātanga o te haorane, o te rā, o te wiki, o te katoa tōranga. So e mihi ana kia koutou tahi o ama. So yeah, so that's our rhythm for the day. What we're going to ask is, for now, that we go into, if we, together during this 90-minute session, we will follow Marisa and Eruini as they share kōrero to lead us in activities to deepen our understanding and experience of Māori. Hearing hear from you about what resonates and how this might support you in your mahi. Time pending, if we're good with time, we hope also to open up some spaces for pātai and wider discussions as we close off our session. So heaps to cover here, te whānau. This could be a week-long one if we really wanted to push it, and we all know that. So yeah, we'll try and build on that as we get into maybe a pipi dive with our mahi of Mauri. And no doubt everyone will probably be able to add some kōrero during the session. So mehana kia tātou katoa. So we will then go into what do we have? We will then go into so our manuhiri that we have this morning is we've got Marisa Pene, as I mentioned before, Heuri no te tauihu, no Ngai Tahu Tokelau, who has worked for 25 years in the Māori Pacific development and committed to the thrival of those community languages and cultural practices. Marisa also has a passion for Indigenous-led mokopuna-centred kaupapa and decision-making that increases our relational understanding of taiao and the earth. Eruini, e te prata. Eruini is for Ngāti Whātua, Ngāti Mahuta, Ngāti Ranginui, Ngāti Awa, Ngāti Pikiao, and Ngāti Maniapoto. Has over 20 years of experience in environmental spaces. Has a strong foundation in te ao Māori, inclusive of te reo Māori me ona tikanga kōrero tuku iho mātauranga a iwi, and he ensures that his work is always guided and informed by the teachings of his tupuna. So e mihi ana kia kaurua tahi, I will hand it over to Eruini. E te prata te a koe te rākau kōrero. Tēnā koe Eruini.
Tēnā koe riri. Can everybody hear me?
Ai.
Tēnā koe riri, me o kōrero I te ata nei, ko koe tērā, o whakatūwhera tia I te ara ki te runga rawa, ko koe tērā te manu whakahaumaru, I a mātou mo tēnei ata, tēnei te mihi mai o hā ki a koe, tēnei te mihi mohana ki a koe. Mōrena I te whānau. So our mahi, first thing this morning, is just to ground ourselves and centre ourselves, and bring us into a state of Māori tau, which I think is very appropriate because we will be discussing kōrero about Māori this morning. One of our exercises this morning is a small meditation, a short meditation. Ka taia koutou ki te rongo I tēnei tangi. The frequency of my gong won't transmit into the microphone there, so I'll put it to the side for now. So this exercise is a breathing exercise ko te hā ki roto, ko te hā ki waho, te hongi me te puha, and as we're sitting in our chairs, or if you're standing, the idea is to pull your shoulders back and imagine someone has a string attached to the top of your head, and you want to imagine that they're pulling that string up so that you're getting a nice alignment in your tuara. And you can close your eyes, or you can reposition yourself anywhere in the space that you're in at the moment. And the whakaaro here is to hongi through the nose for 7 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, and then exhale puha from the mouth for 7 seconds. If you haven't done this exercise before, it can be a little bit challenging, but the idea is to try to commit to the 7 seconds through the ihu, the 7 seconds hold, and the 7 seconds puta through the wahane. Tēnā tātou, kei te mata tātou. 7 seconds in through the nose. Holding for 7 seconds. Exhale for 7 seconds. As you breathe, imagine yourself in a space of calm, tranquility. internally and try to settle and calm your Mauri. Oi, ka manawa mai ko te Mauri nuku, ka manawa mai ko te Mauri rangi ko tēnei te Mauri tia nei e au. He Mauri tipua, he Mauri tawhito, he Mauri atua kia pakaru mai te pō te kitea, pō te rawea, pō te whiwhia, ka watea. Ka puta ki te whaia, ka puta ki te ao marama, ka puta ki te ao mataura e whiti, poko, whiti te rā te au te tai a te whawhia. O ihu o waka turuki, paneke. Turuki, paneke. Whāno, hara mai te Mauri, o hui i tai ki e. Tēnā tātou e te whānau. Hoki mai ki Ranginui i tō tātou hui.
Paino?
Ka pai, ka hoa te rākau ki a koe Marisa. Ka
Ai.
tīmata iau kōrero, tēnā koe.
Kia ora. Tēnā koe Eruini. Tēnā hoki koe e tiri nau i whakatūwhera tō tātou nei huinga i tēnei ata. O tira tēnā tātou katoai. It's our privilege to share a pipi dive into the dimensions of Mauri with you this morning, and following on from the oro, well, the nohopuku, the wā nohopuku Eruini has laid down, we have a pūrākau, te hao hine pūtehui. So our origin stories tell of the turbulence and brutality that followed the separation of Ranginui and Papatūānuku, where atua and rage and howling disagreement turned their powers upon each other. Ko te pakanga I te pairangi tērā. Amidst the hopeless tempest that truly seemed forever without end, hine pūtehui, atua of the hui, the god, took it upon herself to act. Sheltered by the tenga ruruhau, the folds of Papatūānuku, she had lived the profound calm of another way. Inhaling deeply, she drew in the anger, pain, and ferocity swelling around her, drew it into the unfathomable depths within her sphere. Then, rebirthed in sound, she exhaled, breathing forth te hā o hine pūtehui, her gift, the president of transformative peace to the world. For us now, we can draw comfort that whatever we're going through, hine pūtehui tells us transformation is possible. It can be done. I runga I tērā whakaro nui o tēnei huihuinga o tātou I tēnei wā, me inu tātou I te puna o te Mauri ora, o te waiora, o te hauora. Nā hine pūtehui I para I te huarahi. is really noted with all that's going on in the world at this time. Nourishing our well-being is our foremost concern here this morning, and Hine Pūtehue shows us the way. So just laying down that I runga I tērā whāriki, nā Hine Pūtehue I whāriki here. We want to create puna mātauranga about what we understand, some of the things that we understand about Mauri. So I'm going to invite you now to take a moment. Tell us what's the first thing that comes to mind. You may be in different places in your understanding of Mauri, but now is a time to take a moment to think. We're going to put the music on and think for a moment, and in the chat, compose your thoughts. Share your thoughts in there. Don't press send. We'll say karawhiua when it's time to send, and then we'll see what is in our puna mātauranga this morning, our kete mātauranga. So if you could play the music there, Lee, for a moment. We'll just take a few moments to compose our thoughts. We'll take another 30 seconds.
Ever think about what comes to mind about Mauri? I can see some deep thinking there.
And karawhiua. So feel free to press send now.
Woohoo, they're flooding in.
Flowing and changing. I understand Mauri is the health of, it's the energy, attention given and received to others, beings around us. Sets the vibe of a place. It's reciprocal. The flow, the energy, the vitality, the interconnection, intrinsic connection, spiritual interconnectedness, the life force and energy, it's tangible and intangible. People, places, items, connections, the life force present in all things. The Mauri is the health of the wairua of a body of water, an ecosystem, a people, a community. Mauri is applied singularly and at the scale of the interconnectedness of things. Yes. Mauri is the starting point from which progress can or can't be made. Yes, it's a vibe. He Mauri, he whakapapa, hakarangi, he piki he heke. The essential core of being connects our wairua to our tinana, flows like water. Some beautiful whakaro coming through. Great respect for relationships between nature and people, the energy that presents and flows through all things. Yes, kia ora tātou. Those are great starting points. I'll just get our Thank you for sharing those whakaro. That's, I guess from the outset, I do need to say that in the realm, in the Mauri wānanga, that kōrero a iwi is a thing. I must make a disclaimer there that plurality has always been our norm. And so there are different schools of thought and they have always coexisted. So it's common for differences to show if you're talking with people in your realms, they may have names, different names for things, or different aspects are ascribed to different phenomena. And also we must always remember that colonization has done a number on us as well. And so we are busy piecing back shards of knowledge. And so wānanga like this are not only learning spaces, but they're important healing spaces too. But just to underline some of the aspects that are around Mauri, the dimensions of Mauri that we've noted this morning is, so some describe it as life force, the vital essence that flows and connects all things, animate and inanimate, tangible and intangible, stones, animals, winds, plants, cars, roads, thoughts, kaupapa all have Mauri. And as Paparereata says, he matangaro te Mauri, it is unseen, but we can discern it by tohu, the signs around us. It's also in some schools of thought, if you're familiar with Māori Marsden's whakaro, it determines the form and quality and character of things. It can be imbued into physical objects, and it's the spark of life. I think someone did mention that tethers the spiritual to the physical. So illness can be experienced when that binding of wairua ki te ao kiko kiko starts to loosen, and our wairua in our Māori is considered to be finally released at death. So I also just want to underline 3 aspects. It must be understood in its context of te tuakiri o te tangata. So it needs to be understood alongside concepts such as ngākau, hatumanua, hinengaro, ihiwehiwana, pūmanawa, and all that realm. And it also is guided by whakapapa. Whakapapa underpins Mauri. In one sense, Mauri is present across all of the Pacific. And as an example, in Kiribati, we greet with ngā Mauri. But more fundamentally, it has a function in our relationships to all things, each other and all things. So it cannot be seen in isolation. And another key principle is tai timu tai pari. Mauri is interactive. It flows, it's dynamic, and most importantly, it can be influenced. We affect the Mauri around us, and in turn are affected by it. So Eruini will touch on that later on, particularly with the practices that we can take, the actions, the agency we have in regards to influencing our Mauri. In the modern context, I think someone did mention it, there is the taiao oroto realm you may be familiar with. Mauri is often associated with oranga hinengaro and spoken about in terms of our internal psychology and our internal starting point. And then there's also the work that's done in the taiao o waho, particularly in terms of the regeneration of our natural environments, the Mauri model that people like Kepa Morgan have created and developed over time. It's collective, and there are measures associated with it that touch on lots of different aspects there. I think we've got some links. So throughout this portion of the presentation, we'll be sharing links of other places that you can investigate or explore if you're keen to understand more about what's happening in the Mauri world. But I just wanted to underline that he taiao oroto, he taiao o waho, those things are connected, if not synonymous. That's an important point to understand. So moving back to Tai Temu Tai Pari, this idea that there are states of Mauri, ngā taunga Mauri. So you'll be familiar with the whakatauki Mauri tū, Mauri ora, Mauri noho, Mauri mate, and that lays down the foundations for this idea that Mauri can shift and change and that we can influence it. Move on to the next one. So yes, flourish and activity and language and stagnation. So there are realms of Mauri that we can become attuned to in ourselves, in others around us, in our immediate environment, and further afield in the wider taiao. So those can be, as I mentioned, he matangaro te Mauri. So it is about being attuned and aware of the signs, and they can be expressed for us personally and in others, in our being, our behaviours, our thoughts and feelings, our health and vitality. And so it is something that we will learn through relationship what the signs are for each person, for ourselves and for others. It's also underpinned by a sense of balance. So you'll see in this wheel that Mauri ora is sourced from a sense of Mauri tau. So Mauri tau can sit at the heart of things and allow, be the space to foster Mauri ora. But there are being aware of the different states. There's a tauaro or taurite. So you'll see that you will have experienced Mauri oho at times when you can, it's great at the mura o te ahi. But when it becomes unbalanced, it can become ohorere, and we may experience anxiety. So the idea of these taunga Mauri is that they have a constructive space, but there can be an unbalanced aspect when things are taken too far. And so they often travel in tandem here. So we've got Mauri oho, Mauri moe, Mauri tū, Mauri noho, and Mauri rere, and Mauri tau. So and having a think about what those states of being and those experiences may be for yourself. They are relational and reciprocal, as I mentioned before, that we influence ourselves and others by the actions that we can take in our behaviours and our thinking. They also, there's what we can draw into ourselves to shift our own state of being, but there's also what we can give to others. So he rongoa I roto i te tuku. There's service and thoughts to others can also be healing too. So we've got some some links in there if you want to learn more, but I'm going to pass the rākau back to my hoa Eruini, who will share much more detail and these states of being. Tēnā koutou.
Kia ora e hoa ma. Tēnei te raumihi ki a koe Marisa mō ngā kōrero ko kōrero hia I tēnei ata. We'll just, dive straight into some kōrero ne. So if this is the first time learning and hearing about Mauri, it can seem a little bit complex. That's because it is, and that's okay. Complexity in life is nothing new. And Mauri is a vital component of the human experience as it's incorporated in everything we see, hear, feel, and touch. And the same can also be said about the realm of the unseen. Ne? As it was previously mentioned in our kōrero and what was shared in our chat, Mauri can be defined in various ways. The life principle, the life force, special nature, vitality of the being and the entity, and it's also used for physical objects or for an ecosystem or a social group which is located in that space. But what does that mean? In te ao Māori, that means Mauri connects us to all things. And how does Mauri connect us to all things? One way of describing the vast interconnectedness of Mauri is through the sharing of energy. For an example, in our taiao, ki ngā rangi tūhaha, tamanui te rā, or the sun, sits at the centre of our solar system. And tamanui te rā has an abundance of Mauri. This solar energy travels through space, arrives on Earth through a very complex process. Plants have evolved over centuries to absorb this solar energy and convert it into sustenance. Now that's Mauri changing from one system to another system. Ne? Humans have evolved over centuries to convert plant material into energy. Now this cycle, going through this cycle and going through this system is a way that Mauri or energy connects us, ne? From a celestial realm to the terrestrial, both of which are very complex systems in their own right. Ne? And if we have a look at the infinity Mauri cycle, te tipu waru, that's on our screen at the moment, you can see Mauri tau is at the centre, ne? And just to the upper right hand corner we have Mauri oho. Mauri oho can be described as energy, or the ability to do work or to cause change in many ways. As we turn on that curve, Mauri tū can be described as a vibration. And when you have rapid movement of particles vibrating, it represents the manifestation of energy in motion. Ne? As we come down from Mauri tū and sway into Mauri rere, this can be described as a frequency, and frequency is the rate of vibration, ne? And it directly correlates with energy. Higher frequencies carry more energy. As we swing from Mauri rere into Mauri noho, that can also be described as entropy. So in thermodynamics, ne, energy tends to dissipate over time, which can sort of lead to a little bit of disorder and randomness. But a simple term is entropy can be thought of as the measure of how much energy is unavailable to do mahi, to do work. Ne? Swaying from Mauri noho into Mauri moi, it can be described as stillness, where there is no motion at all. From Mauri moi, we can transition into a state of Mauri mate, or the cessation of Mauri. Now this reflects a deeper cultural understanding of life and death, and the spiritual essence that exists within people and objects and nature as they come full cycle and begin to diminish. Ne? This doesn't mean that energy is not present. It just suggests that the state of energy is transitioning outwardly indefinitely. That cycle there, that tipu waru, ki tōku whare wānanga, is Mauri ora. The flow of those different states of Mauri is Mauri ora together. Now, just going back to this kōrero about Mauri mate, for ira tangata, we do ka mate tātou ne. But in a sense, Mauri never dies. In Mauri mate, in this description, it is a space of energy fulfilling its cycle and returning back to Mauri tau. So Mauri tau, or balance, represents a state where there is no conflict or disruption in the systems. For the natural world, the spiritual world, and everything is in a state of peace and equilibrium. Ne? So the relationship between energy, frequency, vibration, and all of the other components of our tipu waru, they're embedded in kawa and tikanga, and these concepts also extend into holistic and metaphysical interpretations of te ao huri huri. So essentially, Mauri is everything in motion, and this motion carries energy, which can be quantified through these stages that Mauri can travel through. Ne? It's also really important to note that on our diagram, we can kind of see that it's 3D, and as we travel through these states of Mauri, there are multiple sides of the Mauri. Ne? So people and systems, both natural and man-made, can sometimes get stuck in one particular cycle of the Mauri system. And this can be detrimental in many different ways. One example is, for Mauri moi, if you're in that space for too long, it can feel quite cumbersome. It can feel never-ending and lead to a state of feeling unmotivated. Ne? Whilst being in a constant state of Mauri dere, being stuck in a state of Mauri dere can lead to exhaustion very quickly and burnout. Ne? And in our mahi, in the public space, there's this urgency and this real need within us to try and fix everything, because we're surrounded by all of these taumahatanga, we're surrounded by these challenges. And sometimes when we're on a constant trying to fix something, it just leads us to burnout. Ne? And in that burnout and that exhaustion, it can also lead to almost a zombie-like state, as we like to say in the lab, where you're just sort of going through the motions and not being present in the moment, in the state of Mauri that you're in, and you're not flowing through the steps with intention. Ne? You're kind of just going around and around in a circle with no real outcome. And that sometimes looks like business as usual. Ne? So one positive effect when we sit in Mauri noho, the energy in the body supports essential functions for physical activity, helping the body to survive and to thrive. And a negative aspect or effect of sitting in Mauri oho is that you have excess energy, and if it's not used in the body, it can lead to things like weight gain. It can lead to things like obesity and other related health issues. Ne? So the key is maintaining a balance between energy intake and energy output to keep the body healthy and functioning to its best. And another positive effect in our Mauri noho, or our Mauri moi, in stillness, it can give us mental clarity. It can make us feel relaxed. It can reduce stress, ultimately promoting overall well-being. But one negative effect is that if you sit in that stillness for too long, it can lead to stagnation. It can lead to a lack of progress and or physical decline. And again, it's important to have a balance. So moments of stillness can be incredibly rejuvenating, but they should be complemented by activity. They should be complemented by growth and movement to ensure both mental and physical health. So these are stepping through the different states of Mauri with intention. And if you're skipping the different states of Mauri, it can feel very jarring and leave you feeling very uneasy and anxious. But this is why it's so important to be aware of the cycle, to be present in your own Mauri, and to be aware of it so that you can cycle through the entire journey, and ultimately return yourself back to Mauri tau, and be in a state of balance, ready for ngā mahi ki mua i a tātou, ready for the work that needs to be done, coming off of Mauri oho.
Kia ora.
Kei a koe tēnei wahanga e hoa o māku e mahi?
Haere tōne, tori minute e tuana ki a koe.
Ka pai. So tēnei wahanga, yeah, some of the key questions there for this next exercise, finally, is what can we do as individuals to quickly shift our state of Mauri? Now, in our chat shower, first chat shower, we spoke about what Mauri is, and the question here is, what can we do as individuals to quickly shift our state of Mauri? Ne? So get your fingers working. Drop it in the chat. If you need to have a whakaaro and to think about how as individuals we can shift our Mauri, kei te pai tēnā. And question tuarua is, what can we do as a collective to shift the current state of Mauri within a community, or within an environmental space, or within an office space?
Start adding that in the chat now, whānau. Start adding it in the chat. For those pātai, answering the pātai of Eruini. We'll give you a minute to add your whakaaro. Pato here o whakaaro. And then in the meantime, as we start to add those in the chat forum, we will then start to go and move into a breakout room shortly, once those thoughts are jotted down. Love that one. Surround yourself with awesome people.
Jackie's just asking if we can put the Mauri tau cycle back up. I think it was the previous slide to this one.
Tēnā koe, Pene. Ka pai. Get a print screen going, whānau, print that screen and paste it into your document. If you've done so already, what we're going to do is we're going to put you all into a breakout group. Into breakout groups for about 10 to 15 minutes. What have we got? Yeah, about 10 to 12 minutes. And what we're going to do is we've got a few pātai here. Firstly, is we're going to ask you to introduce yourself, and then share about what resonates with you with the kōrero that you've heard from Eruini and Marisa. So if we reflect back on the kōrero that's just been said by our mātanga Eruini and Marisa, have a think about what resonates with you, and then share that back with your rōpū, with your group, as a reflection point. So we're going to put you through now to breakout groups to share that kōrero. It might be that you want to talk about your favorite Mauri, and why that resonates to you, and so on and so on. Ka pai homa. 12 minutes we'll put you through now. Gee, sorry, I was talking to myself there. Here's hoping that everyone had a good talk, good discussion, good reflections with each other about what resonates with them, based on the kōrero that's been shared with us with Marisa and Eruini. What I'm going to ask you all now is we're going to play a bit of music, and I'm going to ask you to now jot down some things that that meant something to you, or something that that was a good discussion in your breakout groups. Put it in the chat forum for us all to see what it is that that you enjoyed, that you like talking about, or if you've got any pātai regarding the stuff that we've discussed in the last hour or so. If you can please jot that in. Now we'll just play some music while we do that. We'll give you about 3 to 4 minutes to jot down your whakaro. Rongo ki te au me no te tangata I hia kai ana ki enei mātringa o te Mauri. Tēnā koe te ngāne Aiden. Some good feedback here, it's whānau. Good feedback. If there's any pātai that you'd like to ask, also share that if you want to, so that our kōrero can share what they know about your pātai. Okay, we're going to hand the rākau kōrero over to Eruini. If you've got anything you wanted to add, some extra kōrero. E hoa?
Tātou. I've got the wrong screen up at the minute. Now, these kōrero tuku iho ai can be very thought-provoking and very soul-stirring. Ne? And one of the key questions that we always ask ourselves here at the lab, in particular with this kaupapa of Mauri, is how does this Mauri relate to systems change? So we all have an internal system that we're capable of changing, and it was shared in the chat some of the ways that we're able to do that. And it isn't and do some of that internal work that we discover our true potential and our true power. And in our mahi, in the public sector, working in servitude to our communities, to the betterment of our tamariki and mokopuna and ngā uri kei te hara mai nei, It's important to reflect on oneself and one's own system, a hinengaro, a manawa, a tinana, a wairua, before we're actually able to make a change externally. Ne? So I encourage everybody in our kōrero today to look within, to search, to explore, and if you find yourself conflicted, sometimes that's a good thing. If you find yourself feeling tau, well, tēnā koe, kei te pai tēnā hoki. And in that internal mahi, you're able to step into our communities and into the spaces where we want to do active, positive change with a sense of certainty, with a sense of meaningfulness. Kia te tuki pai ngā mahi ne, kia puta ki te whai au ki te ao marama. And ko taku kōrero whakamutunga, he mihi tēnei ki a koe Lee, he mihi tēnei ki a koe Kelly, ki a koe anō hoki riri, mō tō koutou mahi, ki Ranginui a tātou i roto i tēnei whare practice foundations. O tira he mihi atu ki a koutou katoa, te hunga mā taki, te hunga whakarongo, ngā kai kōrero te wā, tēnā koutou, kia ora tātou katoa.
Tēnā koe, Eruini. Marisa, did you want to add any kōrero at all?
I just wanted to underline what Eruini was saying, that so I guess I didn't mention before, I've had the privilege of, we convened a kahui rangatira in a different kaupapa around Mauri, a wānanga Mauri, and they wanted to emphasise again, as Eruini said, that some of the kōrero that came through was about when we can manage ourselves, that returning to those tipuna ways, that our relationship, our concern for others has us manage ourselves. And that, again, as Dicky had underscored in his kōrero, that in doing so we can influence the system, that the taiao o roto and the taiao o waho are synonymous. They are one thing, and that we are connected to each other. So I guess that those things, when we're feeling alone, that is not the case. And I guess that's the thought we want to leave, that when we take our own actions for ourselves, we are connected with others and connected with the taiao. Kia ora.
Tēnā koe, Marisa. I just want to touch base. There was Joe who mentioned there was some good kōrero that happened in Oropu, Joe, by Aiden. Bro, Aiden, would you like to share some kōrero based on the vibrations of whakapapa and deep learning that we have in each of the kupu? If you want to share some kōrero based on that, I just want to dive into that kōrero a little bit for everyone to listen to. Aiden still here? Aiden, unmute yourself, my bro.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, push the talk. Ke te rongo mai koutou ia?
Yeah. All right.
Che. He rei te mea nui, it's not the biggie. I just went on about it young because we answered the questions and then something else popped up and then there was another huarahi that we went down. And what was it about the collective Māori as well, not just individual Māori? And when we spoke about collective Māori in their current climate and a lot of our context, and things that are missing out within the Māori world in our current context, but using methods or means to actually whakapiki that Māori again, or to ground us or whakawhenua tia i a tātou anō. Looking at whakatauki or whakatauaki as a means of guidance, and one of the whakatauki that we've utilised, and it's kind of kept us grounded in the space lately, and it's not the only, but me matua whakapai I tō ake whare I mua I te whakapai I tētai atu, which technically just means clean up your own backyard before cleaning up someone else's, and there's probably many interpretations to that, but if you're in a position that you're not able to support, if you're in a position to be needing to support yourself, you're not able to support those that need the same support as well. So that was just a bit of kōrero guidance, and then I reira tuku atu ngā momo feelers katoa, and then we had Joe who was sharing some kōrero and how it resonated and how it connected. And yeah, it was just a bit of a tangent. So this is a bit of a waha going away, but yeah, that's all I wanted to share. Have a look at your whakatauki, your pūrākau, your narratives, and these can help guidance because there's some meke kōrero, even in the kōrero that was shared today, e mihi ana kia kōrua koutou. Yeah, it's just been invaluable. Ngā mihi katoa.
Tēnā koe, bro. Tēnā koe, Aidan, e mihi ana ki o kōrero. Ko whaere ki hea ki tō rōpū, kia tātou katoa no reira e mihi ana ki a koe. Is there anything that anyone else is wanting to share about, I think, whaere peti, I think your takeaways for Hine Pūtehue, Tipu Waru flowchart and the interconnectedness in your group discussions, Mauri, is like the flow of awa. And I saw some kōrero there from Rereahu, talking about the water in a cup. Tungane, you want to add anything to that kōrero?
Ka pai. Tēnā rā tātou katoa. Hoi anō ki ngā puna kōrero o tēnei wāmihi ana kia koutou. I whakaki tēnei kapu kōrero, I whakaki tēnei kapu mātauranga, tēnā rā koutou. Yeah, we had some amazing discussions in our breakout session with Riri Pitsy, Mike, and Sam. And before I jump into the cup one, there was another one around the idea of an awa. If we look at Mauri as an awa, and we know that there are blockages, that there are dams, there are things that shift the flow of the awa as it comes through, what do we do to help unbreak, clear away the rāpihi, open up the dams to ensure that the Mauri of the awa flows, And at the same time, what are we doing to shift the flow of the awa ourselves? So looking at kind of our contribution into the communities, what are we doing that enables the flow, but also innately creates blockages, I guess. So it was to take that into the context of the cup, is that it's important to highlight that there are things that allow the flow of Mauri, and there are things that create elements where we can streamline. Ia te rā te kōrero kouau te awa ko te awa kouau. And I think it's important to highlight that while it is good to have a rushing awa, that in itself is a danger. So it's also important for you to calm the flow of the awa as well. So the way that we look into the way that we look at that is how we can make influence into our communities and our practices and our mahi. So yeah, it's important for us to fill our cup, to take things in, to reflect, but it's also important for us to expel from our cup so that we do have space to refill again. Yeah. Tēnā tātou katoa.
Tēnā koe, Rereahu, tēnā koe. Whaere Pitsy, you got anything else that you'd like to add?
Tautoko ana hau ngā kōrero hoaku hoa. Kia koe Riri mau I whakatūwhira I tō tātou haupapa I te Karakia. Tēnā koe hoa. Noe no, tautoko katoa ana hau I ngā kōrero. Whai Marisa, thank you. Thank you for bringing our hue, Hine Pūtehue, into this discussion this morning. It's always lovely having her. For me, personally, wahine, e rongoa nui, ka mutu kuia tētahi o a tātou atua, I whakatau I te Mauri runga I a papa, nāna te pakanga nui e ki, I whakatau, reira mihi nui ana ahau ki a koe, mau tēnā kōrero I tuari kia tātou katoa I tēnei ata. Koe anō ho, Mauri ora kia tātou.
Tēnā koe whaere Pitsy. Awesome kōrero shared, and I know it's been a lot of gems, I guess, in all the discussions that's been had in all the breakout rooms. So thank you very much for everyone sharing what Mauri means to you, and sharing all the kōrero. So once again, e mihi ana kia tātou katoa. Yeah, I think we take it to the time where we close off the session for the year. One thing I did want to especially mention is that we've appreciated our manuhiri this morning, Marisa, kaurua ko Eruini, ma i te mea ko kaurua ngā kai kōrero, i te ata nei, mo tēnei mea te Mauri. He mea nui tēnā I roto I te tātou ao Māori, ko te Mauri, not just ao Māori though, like, you know, in the world. So, e mihi ana kia kaurua ngā kai kōrero, tēnā kaurua. I just wanted to invite everyone to share feedback on the session, on what you did, what did you like and what you didn't like. If there's anything that's helpful or useful for us to know, if you can please put that in the chat so that we understand and get to know what are the things that are helpful or not. So if you can, you may have seen that we're going through a trialing, that we're trialing or sending a calendar invite to people for you to send any feedback through. So that'll be very helpful. We've got a few pānui actually for the closing off of this side of the year. We've got video and resources available on the website shortly, including the link to all the resources that will be shared. But I also wanted to pay a special mention to everyone that keeps on jumping on our Practice Foundation forum. So e mihi ana kia koutou katoa. If you're new to Practice Foundation and would like to receive email invites to the session, please sign up via our Code Design Labs website or by emailing the lab. This is our last session for 2024, and we want to thank you all for the great year that you all participated in, and we look forward to being, reconnecting in 2025 together in March. We've created a short survey also to get you through, to get your thoughts and your feedback. We'd really appreciate if you could spare a few minutes. It's not long, I promise you. Spare a few minutes. This will be really helpful with our planning for the year to come in the series that we have for everyone. Kelly will put the link in the chat now, and we'll be sending out shortly one final email for 2024 with the dates of 2025. So hey, whakakapi ake I tā tātou wahanga, e mihi, mai ohana tēnei kia koutou katoa, ko whai wāhi tahara mai, ia marama, ki te tūhono, ki te whakarongo, ki te tuari ngā kōrero, a tēnā. So e mihi ana kia tātou katoa. I can't thank you all enough for all the time that you share and your organizations that allow you to join in on our Practice Foundation kaupapa. We look forward to seeing you again, and we hope you have a wonderful weekend coming ahead and an awesome Christmas and a new year, Pākehā New Year. But yeah, thank you very much for everything that you've shared with us. E mihi ana kia tātou katoa. Hei whakakapi ake I tā tātou wahanga. Ka tika nei etahi kupu. Hei whakakapi ake I te wahanga kia tātou. Ko te Mauri o wēnei kōrero ka whakairi ake ki ngā pātu o tēnā whare. Kia tikina anō ai a tō nawa. Kia turuturu kia pūmau. Whano atu whano mai. Hara mai te toke. Haumi e. Hui e. Tai ki e. Tēnā rā tātou. Mauri ora.